Pigskin Pen with Coach Joe. Today we're going to talk to you about recruiting measurables and the role they play in recruiting for a high school football player. It's a term, I don't even think measurables is a real word, but you hear college coaches talk about it all the time. You hear high school coaches talk about it all the time. And what are those measurables? Because they truly are the key when it comes to coaching and recruiting. You always hear those phrases, well, you can't coach height, or size hurt and speed kills. And it's actually true. And I'll talk to you in a minute here about how they level out. So when we talk about measurables, the first measurables are height and weight. Depending upon what position you play, and I'll get to it, those are the things that college coaches are going to measure. How tall is he? How much does he weigh? I think one of the biggest misconceptions about measurables are weight room measurables. I've been on several junior day trips and college trips with kids, and for years everyone always want to ask, well, how much does he bench press? Or how much does he squat? I'm going to be 100% honest with you. The last couple of years, these strength programs and talking to kids that have gone off to school, that is minute in the recruiting process. Because when you get to school anyway, they're going to teach you how to lift from day one. They're going to put a bar on, they want you to get perfect form, and then they're going to try to build you up from there. Had a Division I athlete tell me when they got to school last year, he was benching 270-something pounds. They didn't care. They put 135 on the bar and went from there. So in that aspect, measurables have changed a good amount to what type of player that they're looking for. So here are some measurables that I found recently that sort of stand out. One is height and weight. The other is arm length, depending upon the position. Defensive linemen, they like to have long arms. The other thing I've gone on recruiting trips that I see is they'll measure the width of the hand from pinky to thumb. How big are the hands? Depending upon the position there, if I'm a defensive lineman, using my hands to grab, if I'm a quarterback, gripping strength for, as I go to throw the ball. So those are all different types of measurables that come into play. Now, measurables also fall into the position piece. I can look at a kid now in my program and I can say, okay, well, to be a Division I offensive lineman, those tackles are 6'7", 6'8". I had a Division I coach tell me, you know what? He has his own criteria he looks for. One, he wants those linemen to put their hands behind their head, not lock them, and see how far he can squat down. Can he get his backside down to his Achilles? One offensive lineman coach told me, I want all my D linemen to be able to dunk a basketball. So gone are the days where guys are looking for that 6'7", 380 pounder or 6'7". They want linemen that are long, that are lean, that probably play basketball and can move. Okay, quarterback 6 foot, 6'1". I know one particular program, a 1AA program. If you're not 6'4", that's not what they're looking for. You may be a great quarterback. You may have thrown for a gazillion yards in high school, but in their offense, they want a 6'4" quarterback that's somewhat agile and that has a very strong arm. So those are all measurables that come into play. The next thing, or some of those measurables are your physical measurables. We're talking about the 40. We're talking about your pro agility, your 10-yard burst, your broad jump, your vertical jump. And to be honest with you, just as much as you train in the weight room, kids and parents, just as much as your kid trains in the weight room, coaches, you have to also train for these measurable tests. You can't expect the kid, if you're going to, get some timing down on them and not know how to run a 40 properly, and vertical jump and things like that, you have to test them. Now, I'm going to sound a little contradicting here when it comes to this, because we talk about measurables, and I know in past episodes I've talked about how I prefer that kids go to camps and not combines. Combines are a measurable testing event. And again, I have very ambiguous feelings towards that. I don't sort of push combines on kids, but I do know certain measurables help. Like if you're a defensive back and you want to play in the ACC, you better be able to run in that 4.6, 4.5 range or even faster. That's just one thing. DBs, the one measurable they have to have is speed, and they also have to have short area quickness, okay? And that's what I mean by that when we talk about position-specific things. Because to be honest with you, those particular indicators can make or break you when it comes to recruiting. So you want to be very careful. If you're not ready to run a 40, don't run a 40. You know, these college coaches all network, they all know each other, and most likely if your son is being recruited by one school, he's being recruited by the same school. And I guarantee you, Coach A at some point knew or coached with Coach B. This coaching circle, you know, the movie used to be 6 degrees of separation. I guarantee you in coaching, it's like 1 degree of separation. Because if you run a 40 at one school, and I'm interested in you, you best believe it's just like anything else. I'm gonna do my homework, I'm gonna do my background check. I'm gonna call Coach and say, Coach, I know that Mike Jones was at your camp, or Michael Brown was at your camp. What did he run in the 40? And I can compare it to what he did there. So you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing and making sure that you're prepared for it. Again, as a high school coach, I hate to use the word hate. I'm using the word hate. I hate the 40. I hate the testing. But let's face it. You know what? Yeah, you can't measure heart. Can't measure work ethic. You know, you can't measure desire. But in big time college football, and I'm saying Division 1, 2, and 3, heart, work ethic, and all those good characteristic things aren't going to win you a national championship. If your line is 5'7", 5'10", 200 pounds, and these other linemen are bigger, faster, and stronger, you have to be honest with yourself when it comes to what you're recruiting and where you're going to fall in that recruiting process aspect. So measurables definitely are the key, and I'll say this as well. Measurables are a great indicator of the level of play. And there's nothing wrong with that, to use that as an indicator. We can all have big dreams, but we can definitely use it as a level of play. So let me talk to you a little bit before I sum this up. We talked about college football, the NCAA, and trying to find out which division is the best fit for your student athlete. And again, those all go back to the measurables, okay? So what I'm going to do in the next episode is talk to you about how these measurables fit into what level that you should be trying or you should be looking into to continuing your athletic or football career at the next level. It's going to be some good stuff. This is Coach Joe. Remember, respect the process and always keep it real.
Thank you for watching my daddy's video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.